Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, mashallah. Welcome back. Alhamdulillah. My name is Muhammad Hayat Riaz Khan. I'm a physician at the Zenith Clinic, and this is our live health program, Your Health, coming to you live, mashallah, from Iqra TV here on Manchester Road, mashallah. So before the break, we were discussing the dangers of natural sweeteners, the likes of neotame, i.e. E961, the E number, and things like saccharin and aspartame and sucralose. These are so dangerous, and modern research published just a few weeks ago and published in the Guardian paper tells us quite clearly an alarming result of consuming even small amounts of these artificial sweeteners. They can cause things like irritable bowel syndrome, which means you have cramps in your stomach, your bowel habits are changed, you have constipation, sometimes you have diarrhea, it causes havoc. The neotame artificial sweetener, which is found in sweets and found in cakes and found in carbonated drinks, can cause insulin resistance, leading to diabetes, and it can cause septicemia, which is from which 40,000 people die in the UK every year. So are you willing to take the risk just because you like the taste of a certain drink? That's just the dangers to the gut wall. Never mind the fact that these carbonated drinks as a whole cause leaching of boron and calcium and magnesium from your body. Really, the truth is, any person who has any intellect and any kind of aql and shu'ur, you'll never see them drink these carbonated drinks. And before the break, I mentioned about even bottled water as well. Many people, for all the right reasons, when they're having some food, and I was myself at a place just a few days ago, and I remember the person saying, "What drink would you like?" So the person looked at the fridge which had all these fizzy drinks, and he said, I'll have water. I thought, mashallah, a better choice than the carbonated drinks. But if only he knew that probably 500 ml plastic bottle contained about 120,000 nanoparticles inside it, and by the end of his meal he'd have half a card of, like a credit card equivalent of plastic in his system. You see, he didn't know, and he thought he's making a healthy choice, but it wasn't so healthy, my friend. So knowledge is power, especially in this day and age. Every week new research is being published. But anyway, I mentioned before the break that I would like to share with you a natural remedy which can easily be made at home, which is side effect free and very, very cheap, and it's so effective for anybody who has any form of inflammation in their gut. Anything, whether it's Crohn's, whether it's ulcerative colitis, whether it's herniations, whether it's ulcers, whether it's diverticulitis or anything else, gastritis even, or esophagus irritation. You have irritation of the esophagus, the food pipe, that can be irritated as well, because sometimes acid comes up in, like you heard of GERD, esophagus reflux disease, that can cause irritation. Whatever it may be, this remedy, by the grace of Allah, can heal that. And it can heal it because of 4 specific factors that it contains. Now, it doesn't just start, your stomach problems don't start overnight, okay? Allah has given us this system, and Allah has put a balance in our system, an equilibrium. When the balance is lost, that's when ill health starts. You first start to feel dis-ease. Look at the word disease. I've got this disease, that disease. Disease actually means dis-ease, where everything's okay, but you're not feeling well. After some months or years, you start getting pathological changes. First, you have functional disorders, yeah, and then the function moves down to actual pathology, and then all the tests start coming up. Your liver, your enzymes are too high, your kidney EGFR levels are too low, your white cells are too high, your ESR levels or C-reactive protein levels or interleukin 6 levels are too high. Then you start getting this, but this is normally years, even decades later of abusing your body with these vile foods and other vapes and other things that people ingest. Even, you know, these fumes that we inhale sitting in our cars doing the daily commute. It will all take its toll, and you know, we will all pay the price. But anyway, as I mentioned, it doesn't happen overnight. So that's one reason. The second reason why you get these stomach problems is, you know, antibiotics. Antibiotics were touted as the biggest cure and the, you know, a most amazing discovery of the 20th century. So good, so good. My friends, antibiotics in the right time can save lives, no doubt. But there's been such an abuse of antibiotics, such an abuse. Did you know there were 93 billion prescriptions of antibiotics every year? 93 billion. Just think of that, 93 billion every year. So if I've got my sums right, 93 billion is about 8 to 9 courses of antibiotics for every man, woman and child in the world. 97 billion antibiotics. Now these antibiotics you take for, you know, infections, whatever it may be. So if you've got ulcerative colitis, or you've got Crohn's, or you've got diverticulitis, or you've got some hernias or anything else, you may or may not get some antibiotics. Now these antibiotics will kill a lot of the bad bacteria, but they will always leave some. Yeah, they will always leave some of these bacteria. Now these bacteria that are left, what will happen? You heard the expression, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Same thing applies in chemotherapy, same thing applies here. The antibiotics will kill some bacteria. Those that are left have now become superbugs. Superbugs. They can, you know, they can throw off the effects of antibiotics. It doesn't affect them. MRSA is one such superbug. It's not affected by antibiotics. And this is a serious medical issue. Yeah, there's many people for whom antibiotics don't work anymore. And there's a huge search for new antibiotics. Why? Because of the misuse of antibiotics. 97 billion, you know, prescriptions of antibiotics. That's 9 prescriptions per every single child, man and woman on the planet. So dangerous. And it's opened a Pandora's box of health concerns. And just on that, you know, on that note, what will happen when you take antibiotics? If the if the bacteria doesn't all get killed, it will then become stronger. Now, what kind of bacteria? You've heard of Salmonella, H. pylori. These bacteria at one point, you know, E. coli, H. pylori, Salmonella, Candida. These were all relatively benign bacteria. There was a good relationship in the gut. Things were in balance. But because of the overuse of antibiotics, these have now, their relationship has changed inside the human body, and now these are actively damaging bacteria, which cause, you know, H. pylori. You know the symptom of H. pylori. People are really ill with H. pylori. They have to take, and guess how they treat them? They treat them with antibiotics. One should be a 2 weeks course. I know many patients who've taken 13, 14, 15 antibiotic prescription for H. pylori, and they've still not been eradicated. Same thing with Salmonella. Same thing with Candida. Candida is notorious. So many, and you won't even prescribe for Candida antibiotics, but they are being prescribed. Same thing for Salmonella, H. pylori, Candida, and E. coli. Very dangerous. So antibiotics are actually one of the main reasons why our gut flora has changed for the worse. Yeah. And I mentioned about cancer as well. Many people take chemotherapy drugs. Why does cancer return? People take chemotherapy drugs. MashaAllah, cancer's disappeared. Alhamdulillah. After a few years, it comes back again. Why? One of the reasons why cancer comes back after being treated by chemotherapy is that chemotherapy will not kill all the cancer cells. It won't kill them all. Maybe 6% will be left, maybe 5, maybe 3, maybe 2, maybe 1%. But that 1% that is left now is extremely powerful, and it can do a resurgence. It can come back You can use maybe more powerful anti-chemotherapy, more powerful chemotherapy drugs, but they won't work because now this cancer cell has mutated, has become more stronger, and it's now impervious to any treatment that you can give from the chemotherapy, and it just continues and it continues, and then the cancer can metastasize and spread. Al-iyadu billah, may Allah keep us safe from all cancers, may Allah keep us safe from all these illnesses. You know, it's very important after each Farz namaz, after Farz namaz, your dua is accepted. Do dua to Allah, Ya Allah, keep us safe from all these severe illnesses. A'udhu bika min al-baras. There's a sunnah dua of Rasul Kareem which says that وَمِن سَيِّ الْأَسْقَامِ, oh Allah, keep us safe from all illnesses. Yeah, after Farz namaz. Now there's children with leukemias, may Allah keep everyone's children safe, and you know, ajib illnesses. So it's the era where you have on one side, in the UK I'm talking about, 165 to 170 billion pound system of medicine. Yeah, 170 billion, 165 billion NHS budget. But then there's no cure. Your GP will say there's no cure for eczema, there's no cure for asthma, there's no cure for ulcerative colitis, there's no cure for Crohn's, there's no cure for diabetes type 1 or type 2 or type 3 or Alzheimer's or dementia, there's no cure for rheumatoid, there's no cure for arthritis, there's no cure for heart disease. So what is it then? Oh, just keep taking the medications until you reach a stage where them medications are redundant and there's nothing else we can do for you. That's the paradigm. How can you have a system of health which is touted to be so good, yeah, the allopathic system, yet you have this doubling of NHS budget every 10 years, where you have so much worried well, where you have people going to complementary health practitioners more than they go to the GP, and where you have actual GPs, medical experts who've studied 6 years of anatomy, physiology, and pathology and disease, yet don't want to practice. Yeah. And this is all in a book called The Rise and Fall of Modern Medicine, an old book really, about maybe 15, 20 years ago, by Dr. James Lifano. This is the system that people are using for their primary health, you know, reasons. Anything they've got issue, their primary health care is allopathic physician. My friends, lack of knowledge when it comes to health can cost you your life. Certainly can cost you the quality of life. You need to know what benefits you. You are not made from chemicals, you are made from nutrition. Khurak, good, halal, tayyib food. We need to educate ourselves, our children. We shouldn't have on our dastarkhans fizzy drinks. Fizzy drinks should not be on our dastarkhan. It's a aib. It's a kind of, what's the word? It's a defect. Fizzy drinks, la ilaha illallah, so bad for you. Sugary foods, so bad for you. These samosas and bakoras and fried foods, mashallah, when are you going to stop these fried foods? They will be the death of you and I. Natural foods, my friend. And if you can't find natural foods, no problem. Eat less. It won't kill you, inshallah. It'll actually make you even more healthier. That's it. 1/3 of your stomach for food, 1/3 for water, 1/3 for air. Enough. You know, we're not gluttons. We're not here. We're not here to eat to live. Or is it? Sorry, we're not here to live to eat, but rather we eat to live. This is the sunnah of Rasul Kareem. But back to this particular natural remedy for all kinds of inflammation of the gut. All of them, whether it's Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, or whether it's anything else, diverticulitis or hernias or salmonella, jokbio, it's very good. And so what is this remedy that I'm talking about? Nothing else but cabbage juice. Yeah, cabbage juice is this phenomenal remedy regarding which research has been done the world over. It is the best food when it comes to, the best vegetable when it comes to curing all gut disorders. How amazing is that? You won't find that in the British National Formulary, but you'll find it in your grocers. Go there, get this, and juice it and have it. For those with serious, chronic illnesses like gastroenteritis or maybe with Crohn's, they should take a litre a day, 4 big cups. And for those with normal issues of the stomach, 1 big cupful every single day. And keep taking this 6 weeks, and it will benefit you so much. And why can it benefit you? Well, let's go through the reason why it can benefit you. MashaAllah. Because it contains 4 major things. First of all, it contains something called vitamin U. Have you heard of vitamin U? Vitamin U directly helps you heal. It heals your lesions, helps your ulcers to heal, it helps you heal full stop. And you find this vitamin U also in dairy, you find it in milk, you find it in butter, you find it in animal fats, and you also find it in wheat germ. Yeah, you find it in wheat germ. Wheat grass juice. You'll find this vitamin U in wheat grass juice. What does it do? It helps your body heal. It heals you. It's a healing agent, and it's found in cabbage. So please, 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 if you can get hold of this, get hold of it, make it, and see how it benefits you. And even small children having stomach issues nowadays, it can help them. And small children can have IBS because the sheer amount of, what do you call it? Junk food is junk. You won't put junk into even a normal car, a Toyota for instance, never mind a Rolls Royce. But yet into your child's, Allah Ta'ala given body, we're allowing them to put all kind of filth. What do you expect when something happens? It will happen. IBS. There'll be no physical reason for it, but they'll have these symptoms, and the symptoms are caused by, as I mentioned before, neotame, aspartame, sucralose, these chemicals which are causing the bacteria to mess up and then attack your gut wall. What happens when it attacks your gut wall? We're not made of metal. We feel our pain receptors when they're triggered. We feel the pain, and the body kind of cramps up and you get spasms. So these are the foods. And if you look at this children's food, they're full of these, what's the word? They're full of these chemical sugars. Really, this food industry has made fools of everyone. Yeah, the amount of things they get away with, and there's a whole industry around this, a whole industry, 175, 65 billion pounds a year. Where does it go? Not to mention if you go to any shop and you ask next time, ask them what sells the most in that shop, and they'll guess what they'll say to you. They'll say confectionery, sweets and drinks and crisps. So the amount of money that's made is phenomenal. So there's a whole industry around this. If these things stop, the NHS will stop. So first of all, cabbage juice contains vitamin U, and what vitamin U does, it helps the inflammation come down, and that's why, as I mentioned, it's found in natural milk, non-homogenized, non-sterilized milk, not your milk from the supermarkets which is sterilized. Normal, fresh milk, organic milk from your dairy, and you get licensed dairy that sell this milk, mashallah, and pure butter, animal fat, and wheat grass juice. You'll find this vitamin U. But if you want it easily, cabbage. Number 2, sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is an amazing kind of factor found in cabbage juice, which again helps with ulcers, especially in H. pylori. If you have H. pylori symptoms, cabbage juice will help you. Why? Because it contains this sulforaphane, which acts on the ulcers caused by Helicobacter pylori. Number 2. Number 3, and also the sulforaphane is a precursor to something called NRF2, which modulates the immune system. It modulates the immune system. Yeah, when you take drugs from your GPs, some of the drugs, what they'll do is they'll subdue the immune system. You'll have drugs which just force the steroids. They'll force your immune system to go down. Yeah, to keep the inflammation down. Whereas this thing called NRF2, this modulates your immune system, i.e. brings the inflammation down without stopping the immune system fighting doing its job basically. So number 2. And number 3, cabbage juice contains huge amounts of vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is amazing. Why? Because if you have low vitamin C, you get symptoms of scurvy, you'll have leaky gums, and you'll be bleeding. Now, some people call leaky gut syndrome, where food is going into the blood supply before it's digested, and the body reacts to it, the immune system reacts to it, and you get hyper inflammation. They call the leaky gut syndrome a mini clinical picture of scurvy, because the same thing in scurvy, your gums open up, they don't join together, there's gaps, you're bleeding. The same thing can happen in the gut, where things aren't joining properly, holes are created, food is passing into the blood supply, and the body is reacting. So vitamin C, phenomenally good. And finally, the fourth thing the cabbage juice contains is L-glutamine. L-glutamine powder, any nutritionist worth his salt will give this to people with any kind of stomach disorders. Why? It heals the gut. It heals the gut by reducing inflammation and recreating the layer of natural elasticity that's found on the gut wall. So, my friends, there in a nutshell, we have, mashallah, we have cabbage juice, and cabbage juice is just a natural, healthy thing Allah has given us. Who would have thought that the humble cabbage could do so much that other drugs can't do? MashaAllah. Imagine going to your GP and the GP says, hey, bye, take some cabbage juice. You know, you will seriously question what these doctors are learning in medical school. But the real unfortunate person will be you, because the benefit is in cabbage juice. And not just cabbage juice, so many things Allah Ta'ala has made for us naturally, yet we are unaware. Why? Because we choose to remain ignorant and uneducated. We have a duty to learn. And now there is a health revolution occurring in this very country. Go back 10 years, when you go to the service station, what was there? There were unhealthy foods, there were, oily foods, there were like crisp and confectionery and fizzy drinks. Now you go, mashallah, you get healthy foods, you get plenty of snacks based on omega-3, you get vegetables, you get fruits, mashallah. So people are waking up, and unfortunately most people are waking up, but I dare I say, as Asians, we are still asleep. La ilaha illallah. When will we stop having these destructive foods which are destroying us, our children, our loved ones? Diabetes causing amputation of the toes, having kidney problems, eyesight being lost, all these things because of diabetes and high blood pressure, etc. May Allah Ta'ala keep us with afiyat. May Allah keep us safe from getting the illness in the first place. May Allah help us to be strict with ourselves and not be overcome by desires for these kind of foods. Jazakallah khair, inshallah. Until next week, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.